Alright, I thought I'd make just a quick video to explain to you exactly what we've got here when it comes to your Goedgeloof borehole and reservoir level automation system. Here's our ultrasonic sensor. It's currently just facing up as a ceiling, so we'll use that as like the water, and as we move it down, obviously your water would be getting less in the tank. So this is this unit, it's just running off of a battery now, and so are these. These are the two that will go into your boreholes. So we've got borehole 1 and borehole 2. Currently it's been programmed that at 90, I think it's 93 or 94%, it will be considered full. Anything below 89% is considered level 1, and it will turn the first borehole on. When it gets even lower than that to below, I think it's about 86%, it will turn the second borehole on. And it will continue to run until the water fills up to the full level again. Normally, it would only be checking the level of the tank every 2 minutes. I've got it checking it every 6 seconds now, just to show you a quick demonstration. You'll see on the mobile app. So we have the mobile app here. This will be coming out shortly within the next 2 weeks on all the Play Store and Apple Store. So if I open this up, you'll see I've got the reservoir, I've got the borehole, and I've got borehole 2. This is just our office alarm. So if I go into the reservoir, I can hit, for instance, water level. You'll see the last message that was sent was tank level full. That's because the sensor is now picking up that the water is full. If I ask for water level, it'll actually give me a list of percentages, and I get notifications in the app. Okay, so whether you have the app open or not, you'll get notifications. I've also programmed it that at every night at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock, we can change it. It will send you the tank level. Every day, 8 o'clock, it will send you the tank level. You can see currently we're sitting at 85%. Level 1 is set to 89. Level 2 is set to 86. And full is set to 94. But currently we're at 96%. So if I drop this down, okay, let's drop it down to this level over here. I just want to make sure I'm not in the way. Okay, so what it will do now is it will sense that there's a difference, and that difference there is about 5%. So it is very accurate, and it will check the level first. It will see it's gone below level 1. It will then check it a second time, and when it checks a second time and sees that indeed it has gone below that level, just to make sure that there's no issues. Maybe it goes up and then down within one level, then you don't want the pump turning on and off the whole time. So let's give it a few seconds and see. I can open up the app again, and I can ask for water level. We'll see it's currently at 89%. So it hasn't yet turned the borehole on. Let's move it down just a little bit more, and that should do it. And again, we can give it 6 seconds. It will check, okay, it's sitting on 88%, which is below that first level that we set at 89. It will check it again to make sure that the water level is there, and then we'll get borehole pump 1 on. And we'll see in the mobile app, we'll get a message to say low water level. Okay, it tells you it's at 87%. If I go back to all my connections, you see borehole 1 has a message, and you'll see it says remotely turned on, BP Greyling borehole 1. Okay, now let's say, for instance, this borehole is not keeping up, and the water level again drops even more. Okay, I'm just going to stand this side so I'm out of the way. So that should now be below that second point that we put. So it's going to measure the level. It will wait another 6 seconds, and it will check it again, and it should turn on the second borehole. And there we go. So it's turned borehole 2 on. Now both boreholes are filling the tank. Now there was a scenario where we thought maybe what happens if they steal the batteries out of the cell phone towers, and the last message from the reservoir was to turn the boreholes on. And now when it reaches full level, it's trying to send a message to turn these off, but because they've taken the cell phone towers out, these devices are just going to continue to run. So every so often, every 5 or 6 minutes, this device will send a message to these boreholes to let it know that it's still up and running, and it will reset a counter inside. If ever these reach 0 and it hasn't been reset, they'll count up again, and on the second time that they miss a communication from this tank, they will automatically turn off. So as soon as this sonic ultra level sensor stops communicating with the boreholes, after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, these boreholes will automatically turn themselves off, because they're not registering that the tank level is actually operating anymore. So those are those two. Let me show you again the messages over here. We can see tank reservoir set has now sent another message to say alert, low water level, and it shows you 84%. So we can see it's actually gone very low. I can also press that water level sensor, and it will again tell me now it's sitting on 84%, level 1 is 89, level 2 is 86, and full is 94. So, and we'll also see borehole 2 has also been turned on. Okay, you'll see I have added buttons for you to remotely turn on and off each borehole if you want to do that. So you can turn them off remotely. I mean manually. You can turn them on and off. Let's say now, for instance, the boreholes are filling up correctly. And the tank is filling up. Okay, I think it was somewhere around there. We're going to want these two to turn off, and you can see there the first one's gone off and the second one's gone off. Okay, so it's reached full level, it's automatically turned both of these boreholes off. You'll get the communication. I'll show you here in the app again. If we go to reservoir, we'll see it says tank level full. It will also tell you level 1 above 0.1, 94%, above 0.2, 94%. So we passed both those points at the same time, so that's why we're getting both of these. And let's see, borehole 1 says remotely turned off. Okay, borehole 2 is also remotely turned off. So borehole 2 is that one there. You wanted the option to remotely turn it on, so I can press turn on, and we'll see that it turns on. I can also go to borehole 1, which is this one over here. I can press turn on, and it will turn on, and it will say turn on. You can always just swipe down from the top as well. Let's go back to borehole 2, turn borehole 2 off. These messages might not have been programmed. I will program these in. There we go. Remotely turned off. All connections. I think borehole 1. Let's see, turn it off. And there it goes off. Okay, and there we get the message, remotely turn off. So that was just a quick demonstration of how this current system is working. This will be shipped off this week. We can always, if there are any issues or any bugs that we pick up later on, the software on any of these can be upgraded at any time. We can remotely change the firmware of these devices to basically do anything. So we can completely rewrite the code for these devices when they're out there in the field. Another thing to note is we are using the old or the smaller PCB antennas. We do have longer antennas for low-lying areas. Let me show you those. So that's these ones. These ones give a significant boost in signal compared to this. I remember when we were at Goedgeloof, the signal was quite good. So the PCB antenna should be fine. Just remember you're putting them into a metal box of your borehole, so we must just check that the signal is okay. Close the box, let's request the signal strength, make sure that it's alright, because if it is inside a metal enclosure, the signal does tend to drop. In that instance, we may have to replace them. It just plugs on, this one clips off, this one will just clip on, and this adds a significant boost to the signal, and it can just go on top of your tank and on top of your borehole structure. And that's that.